Tim Stillman here for Arseblog News here at Emirates Stadium. The last time that Arsenal women are going to play here this season. It's been a really successful season for them here, certainly in terms of ticket sales in particular. Over 40,000 tickets sold for today, which is pretty remarkable for a few reasons. First of all, this game was added quite late on to the Emirates schedule, and therefore the Advantage packs, which was kind of an Emirates Arsenal women's season ticket, which was sold in the summer, this game isn't included. So they really sold this from 0 to 40,000, so that's really impressive for a start. But also because, to be honest, there's not an awful lot riding on today's game in a league context. Arsenal trail Chelsea and Manchester City at the top by 6 points, have a very inferior goal difference with 4 games to go. It's very unlikely that one of those teams will slip, let alone both of those teams, although Arsenal go to Manchester City in 2 weeks' time, and I really think, maybe not so much for the title race, but I really think Arsenal will have a little red ring around that in the calendar, and they'll really be looking at that game to put down a marker for next season. And Jonas Eidevall in his Friday press conference kind of admitted that this is almost the start of next season, because Arsenal have been quite inconsistent, but they've had a good couple of weeks, won the Conti Cup against Chelsea a few weeks ago, very good win against Bristol City at home last weekend. I think they're just really looking to build that momentum into next season, although something else that Jonas referenced in his Friday press conference, obviously the assistant manager Aaron Dantino is Australian, and he told Jonas Eidevall on the squad a story of the Australian speed skater Stephen Bradbury in the 2002 Winter Olympics was dead last in his race, very, very far off the pace. Then all of his competitors collided on the final corner and he sailed through for the gold medal. And Jonas Eidevall was talking about how his team has to be ready if there is a slip, however unlikely it is, that they can't leave this season with any regrets. And I think that's really what we're looking at here today and for the remainder of the season. Leicester, Arsenal's opponents, almost mathematically safe from relegation now. They had a big defeat in the FA Cup semi-final next weekend. It's a very good opportunity for Arsenal to come into this game, continue their momentum, and maybe hope that Leicester have slacked off a bit. I'm expecting Arsenal to win this game and win this game well, but let's see. So we're underway here at Emirates Stadium. Slight surprise in the matchday squad with no Lotte Wubben-Moy. She has a slight foot injury, not thought to be very serious. I think if this had been a cup final, for example, she might have played. So Steph Catley starting at left centre-back, Laia Kadina not quite fit enough to start this game. But the thing to look for in this game is Leicester play a very kind of tight, aggressive player-to-player marking system. They've committed more fouls than anyone in the WSL, which speaks to their kind of approach. So this is going to be a game about individual duels today. So still 0-0 halfway through the first half. Not a lot going on for Arsenal at the moment. You can tell that they're just trying to draw Leicester in a little bit, try and attract that press, playing quite slowly at the back and hoping Leicester come onto them and trying to burst through into the channels. They've had a few openings doing that, but so far Leicester have probably come the closest with a long shot from Mamiki that was well saved by Manu Zinsberger, but still 0-0, and Arsenal need to step it up a gear here. Becoming a bit of a tradition. It's 1-0 Arsenal, Beth Mead. I spoke a little bit earlier about how Arsenal are trying to attract Leicester onto them and work the ball into those channels. They did that this time, and that always felt like where the opening was going to come from. And it's actually Caitlin Ford who pops up on the right after a nice little bit of a passing triangle. She slips the ball through for Beth Mead in the right channel. Mead very rarely makes any mistake in those scenarios. 1-0 Arsenal. So half-time, Arsenal 1, Leicester City 0. Bit of an, well, not an up and down half. It's been quite slow at times. There's been lulls in play. I think some of that is by design because of the way Leicester play. Leicester come at you really player for player. They turn it into a game of individual duels. So I do think Arsenal, to some extent, not entirely, but to some extent, been trying to slow the game down, trying to bring Leicester onto them, and then quickly attacking through those channels. And that's where we saw the goal come from as well. So Arsenal kind of building quite slowly, waiting for Leicester to edge forward and then going very, very quickly in behind. And Arsenal's best chances have come from that, but Leicester have carried their own threat as well. Manu Zinsberg has had to make 2 very, very good saves from Leicester players in this half, so it's not been entire Arsenal dominance. And at the same time, I'm not going to lie and say I think that this half has had lull periods entirely because Arsenal want it that way. I do think Leicester have kind of blocked up the lines pretty well, have been defending very well and posing some threat on the counter. So this game's still very much in the balance, but I'd expect to see maybe just a little bit, I'd expect to see the same tactic, but maybe just a little bit more of an injection from Arsenal in the second half. Half-time 1-0 Arsenal. Yeah, so beginning of the second half here, no changes at half-time, and again, just looking maybe for Arsenal to just pick things up a little bit in certain phases of play, but I'm not expecting much to change tactically here. I think Arsenal trying to track Leicester on and then try to get in behind them very, very quickly, with Leicester posing some threat on the break, particularly through Dejan Rose and Jutta Rantala out wide, who are very, very dangerous players, and I think Arsenal are very aware of that. So halfway through the second half, still Arsenal 1, Leicester 0, and a bit edgy because Leicester still look very, very dangerous on the counter-attack, but little lift for the crowd with Frida Mornham coming on just a minute ago, Pistina Blackstenius, and I think you can see Arsenal are focusing a lot of their attacks down the right in this second half. Emily Fox has had 2 shots on goal already to add to the 3 she had in the second half last weekend, so Arsenal trying to work that right-hand side a little bit, but still 1-0, and you very much get the feeling Arsenal need a second goal here.
Today's crowd is 42,820. The Arsenal goal scorer 23, Alessia Russo.
So as you can hear, the Arsenal goal scorer 23, Alessia Russo, 2-0 to Arsenal, and that's the goal I think they really, really needed to settle the last kind of 20 minutes or so of this game down. Steph Catley being really aggressive, winning the ball back as Leicester tried to play out from the back, nicking it high up, giving the ball to Alessia Russo, who's now playing up front with Blackstenius off and Mornham on, and just taking a touch and whacking it low into the corner. Exactly what Arsenal need, pretty much I think what they deserve on the balance of the game. 2-0 to Arsenal. That's now Arsenal 3, Leicester 0. Beth Mead with the goal there. Looked for all the world like Alessia Russo was going to score her second goal of the game. Fantastic work down that right-hand side again, where Arsenal have been going a lot in this half. Palova lifts across up to the back post. Really looks like Russo's going to score. Fantastic save, from Lisa Klopp in the Leicester goal from close range. But Russo kind of digs the rebound back towards goal, and Mead with a very nonchalant finish, just lifting the ball into the net. And her record of scoring at Emirates Stadium, seriously, seriously impressive. Arsenal finishing their Emirates Stadium campaign here on a high, 3-0 up against Leicester.
Second substitution, number 23, Alessia Russo. To be replaced by number 11, Viviana Miedema. The fourth official indicating a minimum of 7 minutes, and it's 7 minutes.
So it's finished here at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 3, Leicester City 0. Said at the beginning of the video I expected Arsenal to win and win well. Tick. I said at half-time I felt that Arsenal playing reasonably well, but probably needed to pick things up a little bit. Tick, because that second half performance was, like I said, the first half performance was good, but probably just a little bit lacking in intensity at times. They really picked that up in the second half, and you can particularly see that on the second goal for Alessia Russo, when Steph Catley pushes right up on the Leicester player and wins the ball back high up the pitch and puts Russo away. And you can just see that there was a little bit more of a spring in Arsenal's step in the second half. And 3-0, probably just about a fair result in the end, although Manu Zinsberger made 3 really good saves in this game, so Leicester were a threat, and it was slightly jittery at 1-0 because they always have that threat on the counter with Dejan Rose and Jutta Rantala on the flanks, and they're a dangerous team going forward, Leicester, but Arsenal just picked it up a little bit in the second half. Some nice substitutions as well. Got to see Frida Mornham come on, got to see Vivian Miedema come on, and Laura Wienreuter as well, her second appearance. But another real kind of, not so much a theme of this game, but last weekend you had Beth Mead with 2 goals, Alessia Russo with 2 goals. This weekend it's Beth Mead with 2 goals again, Alessia Russo with a goal, and getting Arsenal's forwards really firing on a regular basis I think is really important, not just for the end of this season but for the beginning of next season as well, to get some of those attacking partnerships going again. But it's finished here 3-0 at Emirates Stadium, 42,000 crowd as well, which, like I said at the beginning, considering this wasn't part of the advantage pack, it wasn't a huge game really, and it wasn't really deliberately wasn't promoted too much because the club want a sense of the resting demand, and this looks like the resting demand, doesn't it? So all around a really good day here at Emirates Stadium. Another 3 points for Arsenal. Manchester United drew today, so I think Arsenal might pretty much mathematically be assured that final Champions League qualification spot, but I think that was a formality anyway.